Sports Betting Radio welcomes you to Back Your Play with Q. Live from the studios of Longport Media, here is your host, Rich Quinones.
Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up, a Tuesday edition of Back Your Play coming at you live inside the friendly confines of the AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio studios. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones. Tyler on the other side of the glass, producing the show, keeping us on the air as only he can. Don't forget the 609-445-1490. That'll get you involved in 2A Sports Talk. Bring something to the table on this 21st of September 2021. Get social with us at 1490 Sports Bet, at Rich Q on Q. Very, very busy show today. Football heavy. We'll dive into the Phillies that once again have just teased the Philadelphia baseball fan. And let us not forget about the drama that is Ben Simmons, where I want to start with that. And as always, Johnny Mack, football in the 20s and about 20. Lloyd Vance. Vance is viewing the 5 o'clock hour. You out there as well. So, you always get to these points, right? Remember that great movie Network back in the 70s where the main character was just like, you know what, I'm not going to take it anymore. So that's where the Philadelphia 76ers need to be with Ben Simmons. Because at this point, at this stage of the game, goodbye. Go, see ya, adios, vaya con Dios, get the hell out of here. Honestly. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to report to training camp? That's fine. That is fine. We will figure out a way to get you out of here. That's fine. We don't even need to do you a solid. We're just going to get you out of here. We're not even going to mess around anymore. We're not even going to clown anymore. You don't want to show up you don't want to report to training camp and you have a contract and you're still under contract. What do we need you for? And you've got a player now, a talented player, albeit, at 25 years of age. And he's frustrated since the team lost the Atlanta Hawks, which he was a major culprit in that setback in the Eastern Conference semifinals. So now you got his agent, Rich Paul. That's another topic. Now you've got Ben Simmons who, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to go home. I mean, at what point do you sit there and you just say, enough is enough? So what he is doing, in essence, not only did he basically tank their championship hopes because he didn't want to shoot, he didn't want to be aggressive, he didn't want to facilitate, he didn't want to show any moxie, no guts. Now he's basically tanking his trade value because he doesn't want to show up. And I don't want to hear this from the Ben Simmons apologists today. Well, you know what? He has some gripes because he was thrown under the bus. I don't care, man. You're a grown man making millions of dollars. You didn't step up. You let your team down. Period. So what? The head coach, subtle shot. So what? The franchise star player in Joel Embiid takes a shot at you. Deal with it. Get over it. Get over it. To me, when training camp's supposed to open right around the corner, and even if he were to show up and still you don't see any improvement in his game, doesn't that kind of tell you everything you need to know? I mean, honestly. That basically tells you everything you need to know about him. I mean, he's a child. He is a child. I'm going to insist I'm never going to play again for the 76ers. Fine. Don't play for the Philadelphia 76ers. Fine. Now, if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, what are you going to do? Well, let's see. He said he's not going to report. They're not close to trading him. So now you think to yourself, does this push Philadelphia to accept a lesser offer? Now, that's clearly what Simmons is trying to entice. He doesn't want to help a team where he has no future value with them at all, just to deal him later. He wants to get moved now. But you got a 76ers president, a team president in Daryl Morey that again, is pretty darn stubborn, if you will. But this is a defining moment now for this franchise because they are trying to build a championship team and foundation around the big man in Joel Embiid. Now, if you're going to find Ben Simmons, okay, fine. You're going to take some chunks of his, 33, 34 million salary once the preseason begins. If he holds out more than 30 days once training camp opens, he won't be credited with a year of service for the 2021-22 season. So, part of me is like, no, show up, we're not going to play you. But then it's like, well, wait a second. Your best chance to also win is with him on the floor. The other is we're going to move you and get you the hell out of here because enough is enough. This is beyond toxic. And we don't need that. So you got the drama with the Philadelphia 76ers. And then you had what transpired on Sunday. Not a good weekend for Philadelphia sports teams. You have the disgrace, because that's what it was. That's a bad loss by the Philadelphia Eagles. And I touched on it a little bit yesterday when I had fun filling in on News Talk 1400. And by the way, the legend, Dick Sheeran, is on the air right now filling in for Scott Cronick on our sister station. So I'm not trying to take listeners away, but you know what? I'm okay with that. You want to tune in to Mr. Sheeran as well. He'll take you up to 6. But yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles, who tried to get cute on Sunday in a game in which you just felt the Eagles had an opportunity to blow the doors off of San Francisco. You're talking about a team that left 14 points on the board in the Philadelphia Eagles. And they tried to get slick. They tried to get cute. They had the long play. They were force-feeding the long ball with Hurts. They had the long play that was 80-something odd yards. You get down to the goal line. You can't convert. You try to go a little razzle-dazzle. You don't convert on 4th down, which was, in essence, one of the turning points of the game. And also, you're up 3-0. You get a blocked field goal, a couple penalties. You could have went up 6-0. 49ers take a 7-3 lead into the half. And then the first 3 possessions by the Philadelphia Eagles were all punts. The 49ers make it a 14-13 game. But that game, to me, just got a little goofy, did it not? Philadelphia Eagles not only get a blocked field goal, so it's a turnover on downs. After they force a punt, which, by the way, that ball is on the 3-yard line. Jalen Hurts hooks up with Watkins for a 91-yard reception that didn't end or result in a touchdown. Why? Because 1st and goal, you got a penalty. 1st and 11 from the San Fran 11, you get an incomplete pass. 2nd and goal from the San Fran 11, you get a penalty, which moves the ball up, by the way, to the 49ers' 1-yard line. So here's your point right now, early on in the season, in a tough matchup, to cement yourself as a team that can run the football and get it in from a yard. 1st and goal, incomplete. 2nd and goal, Sanders minus 3 yards. 3rd and goal, Hurts pushed out of bounds. 4th and 3, they try to razzle-dazzle with Ward throwing it in the end zone out of bounds. And then, boom, the Niners get touchdown on the other drive. Boom, 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 7-3. And even though the Eagles made it 17-11, they couldn't get the Niners off the field late. So not a good game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The injury with Brooks, Brandon Graham, major loss with the Achilles. Looks like he'll be placed on the IR. We'll get more from Johnny Mack. So you're talking about a 33, 34-year-old heart and soul of that defense. Most likely played his final game with the Philadelphia Eagles. So all of a sudden, you get the Cowboys late, winning. Don't even get me started on what transpired Thursday night with the New York Giants, because we'll talk about that as well. Washington wins that game in ridiculous, dramatic, are you kidding me, fashion. I mean, I cashed that ticket, but I was ticked off. So now you look at the NFC East. The NFC East showing you once again it's going to be a stinky division. And now you got the Philadelphia Eagles and a little bit of adversity. And that's what it's all about. How do you overcome that adversity? Defensively, they made some nice plays. Jimmy G stinks for San Francisco. He stinks. But the Eagles now have to overcome a little bit of adversity. So that feel good, smelling yourself, smelling the roses, week 1 win against Atlanta, all of a sudden turns into mush on Sunday in a 6-point loss in a low-scoring affair, 17-11 to the 49ers. Now you've got the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Panthers, the Bucks. Hello? So you want to get tested now, you're going to get tested. Just remember that. And I look at it like this. Everyone fell in love with Hurts and Sirianni. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, you should have taken the 3. I don't like the play call. If it works, he's a genius. He's aggressive. Here you go. But now you have that first taste of adversity. If you're an Eagles fan and if you're an Eagles player. And now you got the Dallas Cowboys who were almost buried at 0-2, got a little help from the officials, and now find themselves 1-1 in the East. A big matchup in week 3, which will be a Monday night affair, by the way. All right, so you got that. You got the Ben Simmons, you got the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you got the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, again, you can't make this up. I've preached. It's almost as though I've begged the Philadelphia Phillies, just figure out a way to make a little bit of a run. That's all I'm asking you. Just find a way to make a little bit of a run. And what do the Philadelphia Phillies do? They promptly go out, and not only do they lose to the Mets on Sunday, but then they get shut out by the Baltimore Orioles. Oh, I mean, wait. You just lose? You just lost to a 100-loss team at home? You can't make it up. You cannot make up how inconsistently bad at times this team is. And right now, as it stands, do they deserve to make the playoffs? No, they don't. Are they going to make the playoffs? I don't believe they are. They're 76 and 74. They're 4.5 back in the wild card. That distinction is going to be long, too. If you think about it, the Cardinals and or the Reds, the Dodgers are 15 games up. They're 96 and 54. The Padres are trying to hang around. I don't see that happening as well. See, those teams are losing games at the worst time. 2, 3, 4, 5 game losing streaks. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have ripped off 9 straight, 9-1 their last 10. So that's where you're at if you're a Phillies fan. If you're a Yanks fan, I can't help you either. I just don't want to deal with them for a day or two, even though they're a half a game back in the wild card. It's too much for me. The agita is too great. So we got a little potpourri. We'll get your thoughts on Simmons, a week 2 loss by the Philadelphia Eagles. So all of a sudden, that parade down Broad Street has now just has come back down to life, right? 1-1, not bad. Okay, big game coming up against the Dallas Cowboys. Some upsets over the weekend, some surprise teams. And then I said it yesterday, too, on O&D. I loved the Packers to not only smack around the Lions last night, but hit the over, and they did both. So hopefully you cash that ticket. All right, we're just cranking up on a Tuesday edition of BYP right here inside the friendly confines of the AM 1490 Sports Betting Radio Studios. Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up. T on the other side of the glass, producing the show, keeping us on the air. Johnny Mac on the other side, his weekly spot football on the 20s. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of tweets already coming in at Rich Q on Q. You can hashtag BYP or back your play. I'll read them off as well as the show progresses. Busy Wednesday show, busy Thursday show, but for now we got you locked in on a Tuesday down the shore.